Okay, so these are overall are going to be Bacillus.
And gram-positive or variable.
Okay, gram-positive or variable.
Form endospores.
Oh, that's a big one, right? Endospores. So they're spore formers. So have all the ones we've talked about so far, have they been spore formers or no?
Nope.
Nope. I would put that they're aerobic or facultative anaerobic. So if they're facultatively anaerobic, does that mean that they like no oxygen? Or that they prefer it without oxygen?
They grow better with air, but they will grow without.
Correct. So they really prefer aerobic temperatures, but facultatively anaerobic means that they can still, just think of like a faculty at a college or at a work environment. The faculty can utilize multiple sources, but there's always going to be ones that they prefer. Like, hey, I prefer Blackboard, but if I need to, I can use Zoom or other sources and things like that too. So that's how I always remember that one.
Do what we can with the budget we're given.
Exactly, exactly. So I always associate that with like faculty. Let's see, I would, so do you need to write down that they typically don't grow on CNA? What do y'all think? Would you write that down or would you not, and why?
Yes.
Do you need to though? What grows on CNA?
It's just one thing, isn't it? Or like not many.
Mm-hmm. Well, so your CNA is more like is your, oh, I guess no, because that one is your gram-positive. I was thinking my Mac. So yeah, I would write down that they would typically do not grow on CNA because that is usually differential for gram-positive, right? Okay, so now it's telling you about a few differential things between Clostridium. So Clostridium species are typically catalase negative. And so catalase positive. Oh, I hate that it always changes DNA to CAN. So I put catalase positive. But y'all can write it catalase positive. And then I would put in parentheses Clostridium cat neg. And then up here at they form endospores. I'll put aerobically and anaerobically. And I'll put Clostridium, anaerobic endospores, or I'll just put anaerobic spores only. I'll put common lab contaminant. You hear every once in a while about Koch's postulates. So Koch, in the development of Koch's postulates, showed that B. anthracis caused anthrax in cattle and helped prove the germ theory of disease. Historically, the Bacillus anthracis has been the most important member of this genus. However, anthrax is rarely reported in the United States. Since it's considered to be a potential bioterrorism agent, it is important for clinical labs to rule out this organism when Bacillus species are isolated, and to send isolates to a reference lab in the lab response network when it cannot be ruled out. So the big thing we need to learn from these is pretty much that they don't really need to speciate them out, except for to separate them from Bacillus anthracis, which I'll take the same from those. I would, we'll put it under the anthracis without the Koch's postulates. Okay, so next one's going to be anthracis. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, so for your catalase, I put my note in my purple and yellow, how I remember that they're catalase positive. And spore formers, is it cat are spore forming? They run through and they mess everything up. And okay, so Bacillus anthracis, what's the first thing?
The glutamic acid capsule and 3-component protein exotoxin for the virulence.
Those are good for virulence. Yep. Let me put a couple things in first, and then we can go in the book order. So first, I'd put anthrax. Second, I would put bamboo shoots. And what is that referring to? These bamboo shoots?
Long chains.
And where? In the gram stain, right?
Gram stain.
And then I'd put Medusa head colonies. non-modal and non-hemolytic. I think that hemolysis separates it from the other Bacillus species. And then if you can't ever remember this bamboo, it's not necessarily like telling you the Anthracis specific, but B for Bacillus and for bamboo. Okay, and now where are the capsules? So I would put, let's see, capsule, and three-component protein exotoxin. So these three-component protein exotoxin, I would list them and maybe read over them. I wouldn't necessarily sit there and, so we've got PA, is what?
Protective antigen.
Protective antigen. Then you've got EF. What's that? Y'all need help? I already typed it. Lily, do you know? EF?
Nope, do not know.
Okay, so that's going to be your edema factor. And then your LF is going to be your lethal factor. And I'm going to put down here, will work synergistic. And what I mean by that is it says that individually, none of them are super bad, but when you have them all three together, that's what causes all the problems. So clinical infections, anthrax is going to be our big one. Animals, animal products. Human anthrax is really rare. So we'll put animals rare. And I'll put bioterrorism, since that is usually where it originates from. Is chapter 30 part? Chapter 30 is not part of this one, is it? Part of this test, correct?
I thought I was unmuted. It's 16, 17, 18, and 32.
32. Okay, yeah, I don't think so. I would go ahead and put wool sorters disease and rag pickers disease. I think I always heard wool sorters under animals rare. Wool sorters. Y'all remember hearing wool sorters? I need this even a test question on mine. We can put down here cutaneous, inhalation, or pulmonary and gastrointestinal. So cutaneous, inhalation, or pulmonary. And what's the third one?
Cutaneous, inhalation, pulmonary, gastrointestinal.
Correct. And then a new one, we actually didn't learn about this when I was in school, but now they're calling it injectional anthrax. And it says it happens from like direct injection into of the spores into the tissue, generally during the administration of drugs of abuse. How would that happen? Why drugs of abuse and not your vaccine or something?
Generally, the needles might not be as clean.
Exactly. So they might not be sterile. They might be out and about where there's contaminated products, or usually in the lab or in the hospitals that's sterile needles. Good job. And I think really when it comes down to it, there was other parts of your Bacillus anthrax that will probably get asked about before, specifically like your cutaneous and pulmonary, like the specifics under it. We can go over what eschar means. And if you want, you can just look up the direct definition in the back if you have a hard time.
Depressed black necrotic central area.
Yes. So I would put yes, CHAR. And what'd you say, Danielle?
Depressed black necrotic central area.
Yes, black. Got it. I would put that this wool sorters disease. Inhalation. Anthrax. I'll put inhalation/pulmonary. I really wouldn't put anything about the gastrointestinal. I'd put that there's a vaccine available under here, but back one. Available workers. Okay, now back to the important stuff. We got our lab diagnosis.
Large, square-ended, gram-positive or gram-variable.
Yep, we've got our bamboo shoots, and we put, okay, we put gram-positive and gram-variable at the top. But really, if you're ever going to get asked anything, it's probably going to be about the Medusa head or the bamboo shoots. Again, yeah, note that they're non-hemolytic, which is differential from the other Bacillus species. Bamboo, Medusa head.
I want to say one of the questions on the book's website asked about the beaten egg whites.
Yes, I was trying to find, we hadn't gotten to that one yet, have we? Yeah, it should be under your colony morphology. But I was trying to make sure if it was Bacillus anthracis specific or Bacillus specific. Oh, your egg whites are, no, that's your fried rice. Is it the egg whites or the ground glass?
The ground glass was Bacillus in general, and then the egg whites, page 363 at the very top of the first paragraph is Anthracis.
Yep. Okay, so beaten egg whites. Beaten egg whites. when lifted from auger. And we need to put the ground glass colonies under Bacillus overall. We need to put up here under anthrax. That a safety cabinet or safety hood should be used. So safety. See how it goes in about all these, all the different biochemical reactions. The first one I would write is where it says, in contrast to B. cereus, B. anthracis is generally susceptible to penicillin. Again, I don't think it's going to ask that compared to other things it could ask. Characteristics important to differentiate B. anthracis from the closely related B. cereus are listed in table 16.6. Non-modal, distinguishing it from most other members of the genus. I'll put up here, highlight non-modal too. So B. anthracis from B. cereus on 16.6. No homolysis, non-motile, we got that. And so the rest are pretty well negative. All right, so most penicillin susceptible. Okay, next one is going to be our B. cereus, right? Cereus. It needs to go over one. So what's the big things about your B. cereus?
Food poisoning.
Yep. So be serious. You've got food poisoning, and fried rice. So you got your two F's. Food poisoning and fried rice. And I would just put under there meat, poultry. But really, I think if it asks you, it'll generally just say food poisoning. So you don't have to know meat, poultry. Vegetables, pasta, and I put the time. 8 to 16 hours. So because B. cereus can be found in small numbers in a significant proportion of healthy people, quantitative cultures must be done. So, quantitative. And we definitely need to put beta hemolytic, right? Why?
Anthrax was non-hemolytic.
Correct. And it's modal. So I'm going to highlight these. Differential from the Anthracis. Actually, I'm going to put beta hemo and take this one out. And resistant. Yeah. Now put see, and I think I got Bacillus under here too. So let me check it out. Okay, Bacillus on my on this gram-positive rods paper. Anthracis non-modal, catalase positive. Cereus is modal. They are spore formers. Diagnostic reactions. Only aerobic gram-positive rod that forms spores. Colonies grow in long chains. Anthrax, exotoxin, and food poisoning. So pretty much what we got. But it's the only aerobic gram-positive rod that forms spores. Okay, we can put frosted glass under B-series. Yay. Okay. I think that's good for Bacillus.